Okay, good afternoon. My name is Bill Persich, and I'm here to talk to you about my Model A story. This is my 1931 Tudor that I picked up a few years ago. And the interesting story is how I got this car. Now, a little background. I had driven or been a passenger in Tudors and other Model A's in the 1970s. There was a friend of mine at the time, worked with him, named Vern Hodgson, who had a bunch of cars, Model A's, and I rode with him many times and got kind of interested in the cars. And then something like 40 years passes, 30 years pass. And I've also done some volunteer work on the Snoqualmie Valley Railroad, a little tourist train, historic train that runs from Snoqualmie Falls all the way to North Bend. And one day I was serving as a conductor on the train, and sure enough, here comes a big horde of people. The Evergreen A's decided to take an excursion on my train. I was the conductor. And so I found these very interesting people talking about their cars. They were beaming faces. Since I had a native interest in these cars, naturally I got to talking to them. And there were two particular people in general that outshone everyone else, at least the interest they gave to me. One, it was George and Isla Sage. George kept telling me about the wonderful nature of the club and the cars. And you know, I was already hooked on this sort of stuff. And when I met a guy like George and Isla telling me about the club, next thing you know, it rolled in my head to consider joining. I didn't even have a car at the time, didn't even know how to drive one. So a few months later, I contacted the club and I decided to show up for a meeting. It was like in November. And sure enough, I met a few folks, joined the club. And within 4 months, the club helped me find a car. I bought this from another club member. So again, no experience in driving these cars. And I actually had to have someone show me how to drive it when I first picked it up. But ever since then, I've been a steadfast club member. I could truthfully say I got railroaded by George Sage on getting this club and getting this car and joining the club. And I really enjoyed every moment of it. Okay, I'd also like to describe another aspect of the club. And car clubs in general, but our club in particular. One of the things, since this is the first car club I've ever joined, I really had no understanding of what a car club is and does. One of the other aspects that I found most helpful was all the support these experienced club members can give you with regards to maintenance and overhaul of your car. I didn't anticipate the level of support that I would get from something like this. I was a novice to even driving this car, much less repairing it and maintaining it. I found that our club, the Evergreen A's, we have a particular program called the Doctor Days Club, kind of a euphemistic term. We have a bunch of car experts that once a month will go to members' houses and work on people's Model A's, from anything from minor repair items to engine overhauls if necessary. So that provided an extra level of comfort and confidence I had in the club. I didn't expect that from this car club. So if you're ever thinking about being a solo driver kind of on your own or being a member of a club, I tell you that the club itself provides a security blanket for all your automotive needs in a way. And frankly, there's another level of confidence that comes out when you're going on an excursion with a club and you have a herd of like-minded cars with you. I mean, that feels, it's hard to describe that until you've actually been there, but that provides an interesting dimension, comfort, knowing that you've got plenty of support. I suppose wagon trains in the old days had the same sort of comfort when they came in, 24, 30 different wagons across the West. But that's another benefit of riding together. And of course, fail to mention that when somebody sees, a member of the public sees 10 to 15 of these cars all lined up in a row going somewhere, it turns heads. And that's kind of fun for us too. It's a bit of an ego boost, and we enjoy that. So that's a whole nother reason for the emphasis on joining a club. So that's kind of my quick overall summary about how I got into the Model A hobby. And if there's any slight interest any of you have listening to this video, give a consideration of joining a local club, because you'll find that enthusiasm will help make this hobby so much more interesting to all of you.